So let me be the very first to wish you Happy New Year in your home. If you happen to be watching this on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, I hope the light of Christmas is still shining in your hearts and in your family. One of the things that we did in my home is that we celebrated Christmas in a big way by remembering Jesus' birth. As we enter into the new year of 2018, I hope that 2018 is going to be your best year. One thing you know for sure is it's going to be your next year. And so we want to enter into this year by remembering Jesus in the way that he told us to remember him. As a matter of fact, we spent a lot of time and money at Christmas time to celebrate in the giving and receiving of presents. I hope you've enjoyed the presents you've received, even as much as perhaps the ones that you gave, and watching others enjoy those presents that you've given to them. But on the night before Jesus was betrayed to give his life for us, he took the bread and the cup of Passover, which had celebrated something that had happened thousands of years before when God had delivered his children out of Egypt and brought them into the promised land. Well, now on this night, this whole new supper or communion or the Eucharist, as many people call it, took on a whole new meaning. As a matter of fact, it was the new meaning, that it was the Eucharist. It was the good gift. It was the remembrance. It was the time when we could commune with God. And so Jesus took the bread first, even as they had done for thousands of years through Passover. But tonight, it was about to take on a whole new meaning on that night. And whether you're watching this at daytime or in the nighttime, remember what Jesus was about to do on that night. Because on the night before he was betrayed and was to be whipped and beaten and was to give his life up for you and for me, he gave them the bread, which I invite you to take now off of the top of your cup if you have communion kits that you received on Christmas Eve. If not, you can pause this video and go to the kitchen and pick up some saltine crackers and some grape juice. It will suffice as well. But he took this bread and he said, "This is my body, which is given for you. Eat you all of it." Jesus also curiously took this cup. He said at one time during his ministry that unless we ate of his flesh and drank of his blood, we could not be part of him. And while we see this as symbolic of Christ's body and blood for us, we now take this new covenant together. He said, "This is the new covenant which is written in my blood, which is poured out for your sin. Drink all of it." As we move into a new year, we spent the year of 2017 thinking about this verse in particular from James chapter 4, verse 8. James, the half-brother of Jesus Christ, said, "Come close to God, and he will come close to you. Come close to God, and he will come close to you." As we move into the new year of 2018, I want to share with you the verse that I want us to focus in on the new acquisition of a new year and a new season of life and ministry in our church. Jesus said this right before this festival was to be celebrated at an earlier time in his ministry. He said, "If any of you is thirsty, let him or her, by implication, come to me and drink." I'm thinking that perhaps as you enter into the new year that you're thirsty. You're thirsty for that which is clean and pure and positive and powerful, and you want to leave behind all that is bad and diluted and polluted in your life. Jesus said that we could drink of him, and he would be like living water to us. And so during this season, as we move into a brand new series in January, we're going to be talking about the theme H2O, the chemical symbol of water. But water itself actually is life. We can survive a long time without food, but very little time without water. And so we've got a brand new series we're beginning on January the 7th. It's called H2O, habits to outcomes with 2 brand new service times. We're moving to 9:30 and 11 o'clock. So H2O begins on January the 7th, and we're having services at 9:30 and 11 o'clock. So we encourage you to set your calendar, your clocks, your alarm clocks to get up. As a matter of fact, you're going to get to sleep 30 minutes longer during the cold winter time for our services. And as a way to help you remember throughout the new year, we have some wristbands for you that we gave out on Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve services that say habits to outcomes. So we can begin putting in new practices and habits during the new year. As we close this time together, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in during this new year time and season. Great things have happened in the life of our church. Thank you for making that possible. It's not too late if it's still December the 31st when you're watching this to give. If you want to give to the mission of our church and still be counted toward the offerings and tithes and things that can be counted for your taxes in 2017. Thank you for all that you've done. Even on Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve, we had 11 people who demonstrated publicly through baptism that they have made Christ the priority of their life and the Lord and the master of their life. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, 34 people over 3 different seasons and services during this season, gave their lives to Jesus Christ and by indication of hand indicated that they had begun their walk with Him. So pray for those that were baptized. Pray for those who had just entered into this season. Thank you for all that you did to make 2017 a great year. And now as we enter in to 2018, we're going to practice new habits to outcomes, to drink from the living water, and accept Jesus' call to us. If any of you is thirsty, Jesus says to you, let him come to me and drink. Happy New Year.